two, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, everybody. Richard Burt here on today's episode of The Dash. A few years ago, let's start there. A few years ago, I wrote a book called Conquering the Fear Within. And today I had to face what I was starting to understand was fear. So I've had this office space, content place. We spend a lot of time, or at least my team spends a lot of time there, but I hadn't done any major renovations to the space. It looked very much like it did when we moved into it 3 years ago. And one of the things that I started to understand is I had not put a ton of money into this space because I had a fear that I would not be able to maintain it. Now, understandable. Every month it felt like, okay, this is my last month. Will I be able to do it? Will I be able to come up with the rent? Will I be able to pay this? I'm going to pay that. And this fear had paralyzed me to a point where I wasn't putting the right amount of money into the space to be successful. And that was a fear. Now, the crazy part of that fear is that, again, I've been in this space for 3 years. So every month I'm able to afford it. But that little thing was in my mind that kept me from being able to move forward. And so today, at the beginning of last week, we put a bunch of money into renovating the space and actually started moving in. But I wanted to go through, because in that book, Conquering the Fear Within, I talk about 10 different ways that you can conquer your fear. Today, in this broadcast, I'm only going to do 5 of those, conquering the fear within. Because, I've been in business for a long time. And in fact, I started my first company basically in 7th grade. So I've been doing this for a long time. And even I still have to deal with that Judas within, that person that's whispering in the back of your head, telling you that you can't do something. And so here's my first 5 tips for conquering the fear within. First, you got to bear in mind that everyone fears something. And what that means is that you, my friend, are not alone in being afraid of some things. You have to bear that in mind, that you are not alone in this process, that there are other people who are going through similar things with you. Number 2, you got to recognize what your fear is. Like I said earlier in this broadcast, I realized that my fear was really working from a space of scarcity. I was fearful that I would not have enough, even though the past showed me that I did have enough. So you have to recognize what your fear is. You got to recognize exactly what the fear is. Number 3, you got to make a decision. Fear will paralyze you to a point where you can't make any moves. So in order to get rid of fear, to conquer the fear, especially the fear within, you need to make a decision. Number 4, you just got to take one step at a time. There is the cousin of fear, if you will, is overwhelm. The cousin of fear is overwhelm, where you feel paralyzed that you can't do anything because of so much information that is available to you, so many decisions you have to make. So number 4, you got to take it one step at a time. Understand that incremental movement will get you to where you have to go. And then number 5, you have to consider your fears as a growth opportunity. This is a time, conquering my fear is the time where I realize that I actually have growth. I actually have movement. I actually have moved from, being a freshman to a sophomore. and from a sophomore to a junior, junior to a senior, and then on to graduation. Those are the ways that you conquer the fear, especially the fear within. So bear in mind that everyone fears something. Number 2, recognize your fear. Number 3, make a decision. Number 4, take it one step at a time. And then number 5, consider your fears as growth opportunities. I hope that this helps you. Peace.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dig it.